If you want to scale to $1 million in funding and to trade it successfully and pull payouts at that level, there is one belief that you need to delete. Now, I want you to bear with me because there's something I want to share and explain before I give you the actual belief you want to delete and I show you how to actually delete it. There's a concept or a law that's important to understand for all of this to make sense. Now, you've probably heard me speak about the polarity or contrast laws on this channel before. And the polarity laws state that you don't have a positive without a negative. And this is quite easy to demonstrate and easy to see. Whenever in the mind you're labeling a particular event good or positive, or you're elated by that or infatuated with it, by law of contrast and by the polarity laws, we label its exact opposite bad and negative, and we try and avoid it. For example, if we experience a trading win and we're elated by that and we're happy by that win, then the contrast in that moment would be we have a fear and we're trying to avoid a loss in that moment. So there's no such thing as a positive without being resentful to its exact opposite at that simultaneous moment. Now, the other counterbalancing force here is that if we experience a win or we pass a funding challenge and now we're trading a funded account, or if we gain profit, if we make some money in the market, there is now a simultaneous fear of losing that particular win or passing that funded challenge or that profit or that money we've made. And you've probably all experienced this. You have a moment of when you're elated by passing a funded challenge, and in the mind now there's an anxiety of losing that account. There's a fear of losing that account. Or you make a bit of profit and then immediately after that elated feeling, you feel that feeling of anxiety of, I need to tighten up and I can't lose this profit. So every positive comes entangled with its negative, which is its exact opposite. And the particular thing we're infatuated with, we also have a fear of losing that particular thing. And its exact opposite, we have a fear of gaining it. So in other words, we don't have a one-sided event. We don't have a positive without a negative. We don't have a gain without a loss. We don't have an elating experience without a fear or an anxiety that comes paired with that particular relating event. Now, if we go back thousands of years and we study certain philosophies, we see the polarity laws spoken about there. There are some philosophies that state that the swing to the right equals the swing to the left. Meaning the moment you become infatuated with a positive win, or passing a funded challenge or a profit, it creates the counterbalancing resentment to the opposite, which is experiencing a loss, failing that funded challenge, an expense, or losing money. So the swing of the right equals the swing of the win. And the greater the perceived swing to the right, the greater the perceived counterbalancing swing to the left. We don't have one without the other. Now, when we gain money, when we have a win, when we pass a funding challenge or gain profit, we're assuming in that moment that that outcome is better than its opposite. We're assuming there's going to be more advantage and disadvantage from that particular win or from gaining that funded challenge. But if you run a very simple thought exercise and we see that having that win makes us complacent and then we lose more than what we've gained in previous trades, then we have to ask ourselves the question, was gaining that amount of money initially or passing that funded challenge initially, was that good or bad? But we'll cover more of that in a second. What I want to first communicate is the polarity laws. There's no such thing as a benefit without its counterbalancing drawback. So the one belief that we have to delete immediately if we want any chance of being able to scale to $1 million, to hold on to that, to get payouts at that level, is this idea, is this illusion that winning the individual trade is good. Why? Because based on the polarity laws, if we hold on to this idea that winning the individual trade is good, then we're going to continue to be pained when the inevitable other side shows up. When the inevitable losses show up, we're going to continue to have pain. And those pains are going to trigger us into destructive trading patterns. Now, here's the thing. If we're stuck on this idea that winning the individual trade is good and elating and we're seeking after that, that means we're pained by the opposite event, which is losing. And we also, whenever we do make profit, we have fear of losing it, which tends to lead us to tighten up and not stick to our plan. If, let's say, for example, we're trading a $10,000 or $100,000 or even a $250,000 funded account right now, the moment we trade $1 million, remember the swing of the right equals the swing of the left. There's now greater perceived rewards and greater perceived pleasures on the bigger account, which means there's greater fears. There's greater resentment to the opposite, which creates even stronger emotional volatilities, which draw you into greater destructive patterns. So the one belief that you have to delete now if you want any hope of scaling to 1 million and then holding on to that million and trading it successfully by sticking to your plan is we have to crack this idea that winning the individual trade is good, and we have to break this attachment to winning the individual trade. And this is exactly how you do it. Now, there's a few different perspectives, and I could talk about this particular topic for hours, but there's certain principles. When I work one-on-one with a trader, and there's been a handful of six-figure traders I've worked with this year that have helped get to 7 figures and sustain at that level. When I work with them and we start to go in there and break this idea that winning is good and trying to put it on a pedestal and trying to seek after it on the individual trade, these are the certain principles I like to share with them. Now, keep in mind, just because I'm saying winning isn't good doesn't mean I'm saying it's bad either. What we're trying to do is see winning for what it is, neither a good or a bad experience, just you being rewarded for your processes and just price hitting your entry and hitting your take profit, just seeing it objectively for what it is, as opposed to this narrative that we tend to build around winning, exaggerating it and dramatizing it and making it better or bigger than what it is. So the truth is, every trader will go through a sample space with their trades. They're gonna have certain wins, they're gonna have certain losses, they're gonna have certain wins, they're gonna have certain wins, they're gonna have certain losses. And the sample space of wins and losses is gonna oscillate. And you're gonna go back and forth between wins and losses. Sometimes you're gonna go on a bit of a winning streak, sometimes you're gonna go on a bit of a losing streak. Now, every single one of you has an edge put into a mechanical trading plan. So when we broaden the perspective, if we zoom in on the individual trade and we made profit on that individual trade, because of our narrow perspective, we may build ourselves up and label that good. But if we broaden our perspective over a larger sample space, let's say the last 10 trades and the next 10 trades, what we can start to see is that individual win is actually making up for some previous losses, and it's also money in the bank for future losses. And these are going to average out to give us our true return. So by zooming in and having a very narrow perspective that this win is good, I made all this money, without putting into context of your previous losses, your future losses, then we can exaggerate how good winning is on that individual trade. We're also running the assumption that winning holds a benefit without a drawback. And we're assuming the benefits are greater than the drawbacks in that particular moment. So what I hold traders accountable to seeing is I get them to go back to specific moments in the past where they really were elated and happy by a win and really proud and puffed up by a win. And I ask them a simple question: what were the drawbacks and the risks in that moment when you experienced that win? What were the things that you overlooked at that time that had consequences to you and to your trading? And when we go back to those moments and we see that in that moment, the simultaneous moment they had the win, they dropped their guard. They started to become complacent. They stopped respecting risk in the market. They stopped appreciating and respecting their own trading plan. It puffed them up and it exaggerated them in a state of this self-aggrandizing overconfidence. And that win, because of those consequences, led them to forcing low quality setups on the market and forcing, trades that aren't part of their plan, and thinking they could take anything from the market, thinking they're going to make easy money from the market, thinking they can continue to replicate that win on every future trade. And now they start resenting their job, and now they start acting irrationally and making silly financial decisions like quitting their job or overspending, and they keep themselves stuck in a trap. So when I help them go back to those moments where they perceived wins having more benefit than drawback, and I help them see the drawbacks in those moments, then all of a sudden they can see the hidden risks and consequences of winning, not to make the win bad, but to just see the win for what it is. It has both advantage and disadvantage, just like losing does. And wisdom as a trader is seeing the benefit and drawback in both experiences. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get puffed up when you win, and then when you're too zoomed in, you're gonna get puffed up when you win, and then when an inevitable loss comes through, you're gonna beat yourself up. As opposed to seeing both the benefits and drawbacks when you win, staying grounded, and then when you lose, seeing the benefits of that and seeing both the benefits and drawbacks of losing and staying grounded after that. So if you want to be able to get from $0 to $1 million in funding, you have to learn to see the other side of winning. You need to take it off the pedestal and realize that winning has risks and consequences as well. It has drawbacks, just to humble the attachment to winning the individual trade. And as a result, what that will do is it will open your mind to the benefits of losing. And you'll see that you get the opposite experience when you lose, and every so often it brings you back to your processes, it humbles you, it grounds you, it makes you more open and teachable, makes you respect risk in the market, and having healthy anxiety or healthy fear is actually quite beneficial, because you only take setups that you're certain you have an edge in, as opposed to when you win, you become puffed up and you take every setup because you think you're just gonna get rewarded by the market in every trade. So when you start to see the drawbacks of winning, and then you realize that winning doesn't necessarily have more benefits than drawbacks, although we were previously seeing it that way, we see the winning experience has equal amount of drawbacks as benefits, equal amount of pains as pleasures, then you start to see the outcome of winning more objectively. You start to see it as, all right, price hit my entry, then it hit my take profit. And you stop zooming in so much, you consider the broader sample space and edge, and that allows you to be more process-based, and that allows you to be less reactive to the market and be able to effortlessly scale, 100,000, 200,000 every 1 to 2 months, and every single new level, you get a new challenge, but you implement the same principle, you ground yourself, and then you keep going, and then eventually you get to 1 million. And what happens there is, because you've incrementally scaled there with the correct process-based mindset, trading 1 million is no different to trading 100,000 in your mind, because you get greater challenges, but you also get greater supports in that moment. If you know how to integrate at that level, there's no difference in the psychology. You've slowly acclimatized to that level. Whereas most traders, what they do is they try to get to 1 million as quickly as possible. And because of that greater degree of greed and reward, there's a greater degree of fear that they're trying to split apart. And that's what leads them to not being able to get there in the first place. And then if they do get there out of luck, not being able to sustain it, not being able to get payouts at that level. And then what happens is they blow it and they go right back down to their comfort level. So traders, if you want to get from 0 to 1 million in the most sustainable way, where you can actually sustain holding on to it and get payouts at that level, this is the way to do it. Implement what I've shared in this video. If you resonate with it, I also encourage you to download the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 3.0 training, which comes with my free AI-powered technology, Teller X, to help you implement these principles in real time under pressure while you're actually trading, so that, this doesn't just become a YouTube video you watch and completely forget about, but something you can actually implement into your trading to see better results. So go into the link in the description or first comment, or even scan the QR code that's on your screen right now to download that free training and tool. And traders, if you got one new insight from this video, go ahead and like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have a particular challenge that you just can't break through in your trading, feel free to comment it below and I'll offer you some help. And before you click away from this video, make sure you click and watch the video that's going to pop up on your screen here. That's 6 years worth of trading psychology insights summarized into a 22-minute video for you. Enjoy it.